Hey y'all, it's Dare De La Soul, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about growing our hair and length retention. I started transitioning to natural in 2011, and it wasn't until 2015 where I started trying to figure out how to get my hair healthy. So 2015 and 16 was all about getting my hair healthy, growing out that heat damage, bleach damage, because at that point I had no more relaxer, but I was still like flat ironing and bleaching my hair. So that's what I was doing last year. So this year, 2017, is all about growing my hair. And if you've been following me for a while, you know my hair has grown a lot in these past few months. So I'm going to be doing a video on growing our hair and length retention so that we can kind of grow together, since this is like the beginning of my growth journey. Alright, so let's get it popping. The first thing I want to say, yes, this is another rant. Stop saying that your hair is not growing. Hair sheds 50 to 100 strands a day. If your hair was not growing, you would be going bald because the hair is falling out and nothing is coming in if it's not growing. The problem is we aren't retaining length when we feel like our hair is stuck at a certain length. And what that means is your hair is growing from the roots, but as it's growing, you're breaking off your ends. So you're just kind of stuck in whatever length that you're in. So it's not because your hair is not growing, it's because you're breaking it off. So that's why we're gonna talk about length retention today. Because you can be doing everything right in the world to make your hair grow fast, but if you're not retaining the length, you'll never see the results of your growth. All right, so as far as growth tips, the first thing I want to say is the vast majority of that is genetics. Like, there are people out here who got booty crack length hair. They don't take care of their hair, but it just grows down to their tailbone. But then there are some of us out here who are doing everything right. We don't use no heat, we protect the style, we moisturize, but we will never get past like armpit or mid-back length. And that's just, it is what it is. We can't really control our genetics, but there are things that you can do to get the maximum amount of length that you can achieve and to accelerate the rate at which your hair is growing. So there are two things you need to focus on when growing your hair, and that's taking care of yourself internally and then taking care of your scalp. Internal wise, you want to make sure that you're drinking water, you're sleeping like you're supposed to, you're not stressing, because we all know that when you stress, your hair sheds more. And another thing you can do is try vitamins. I have been taking the Main Choices Metabolism vitamins. I started them on April the 1st, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of fell off, so I need to get back on the game plan so I can give you guys a review on whether I feel like they work for me. You guys know I'm all about doing some research, so I did do some research on vitamins because I kind of felt like I may not need them because my hair grows just fine, or they may not work for me. And what I found was, to increase your success with vitamins, you want to take a vitamin that has more than just biotin in it, because if you don't really have a biotin deficiency, for some people your body just gets to a point where you're just putting all that biotin in and then you're just excreting it out, like you're filtering it out of your body because your body doesn't need it, so it's not really making your hair grow, your body's just processing it out. These vitamins have vitamin A, C, D3, E, K1, and a lot of other stuff in here, as well as biotin. And what stood out to me was I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, but it'll be spelled right here. It's called MSM, and basically this is the building block of what our hair is made of. And your hair grows in cycles, and there's a growth phase where your hair is just growing before it sheds out. This expands the growth phase in your hair's lifespan. So this is really crucial to hair growth, and if you're looking for vitamins, you definitely want to look for that MSM above anything. Now, as far as taking care of your scalp, it's just really simple with your scalp. You just want to make sure it's clean and keep it nourished. So one of the things I've been doing is once a month, I've been going through and exfoliating my scalp, and I have a video linked here for that. I got that from Sister Scientist when I went to a hair expo. She said that like 20 times when people were asking her questions. So I was like, let me try this exfoliating thing. And it feels amazing. And I can just, the science behind it just made so much sense as to why making sure that your pores and your scalp are unclogged would help your hair grow faster. The next thing is to make sure your scalp is nourished. If your scalp is dry and flaky, that's not a healthy environment that your hair is growing out of. So I have actually been using the Main Choices Growth Oil. I've been using this since last year, and I love this stuff. Since I started using this stuff, the flakes on my scalp have gone, and my itchy scalp has just been soothed. And just so you guys know that I ain't fronting on you, this is my last drop I need to finish out before I start my new bottle. So I definitely recommend this. Another thing about this growth oil is that it has ingredients in it that stimulate inactive follicles on your scalp. So this may be able to awaken those and get your hair growing. All right, so growth is pretty simple, right? The hard part is retaining the length once it grows out of your scalp. So the first thing you got to do is figure out how you're breaking your hair off. It could be heat damage, it could be bleach damage, it could be just dryness, it could be friction from your clothes, it could be pulling your puffs too tight. It could be so many different things. I really couldn't tell you one-on-one what it is without having a camera on your wall and watching everything that you're doing that could possibly cause breakage. So I will have a link in the description box with a list of things that cause breakage, and you kind of just got to sit back and think, what could I possibly be doing off this list, or which number of things could you be doing off the list that's causing your hair to break off? And then you have to stop it. You have to figure out some way around whatever you're doing. My next tip though is to reduce the amount of manipulation you're doing and don't roughly handle your hair. I actually recommend that you try to find a style where it can last you a week. If you can't do a week, because I know not everybody can do that, or they just don't like frizz after a while, like I don't mind this anymore just because I want my hair to grow. I used to be like, oh, I must have definition at all times, but that doesn't really bother me. As long as I got a good shape going, I'm okay. So I actually recommend you guys find you a style that'll last you a week. If you can't find one that lasts you a week, find you one that you can last you at least a couple days, and then go through and redo your hair on either damp or dry hair. But don't start your rewashing process all over again, because that's so much manipulation and you're increasing your chances of breakage. Also, a bonus to not starting your washing process all over again, you are retaining moisture. You're not shampooing and rinsing out all that moisture. And that kind of leads into my next tip, which is to moisturize. When your hair is dry, it is fragile and it is brittle. So when you're doing any kind of styles, or when you're manipulating your hair and it's dry, it's just susceptible to breaking off. I do have a very detailed, very good video on how to moisturize natural hair, and there's something in that video that can help any hair type whatsoever. The key is to learn your porosity and learn how to layer your products so that you are hydrating your hair, which means that the moisture is penetrating inside the strands, and then you're sealing and locking it in so it's not escaping later. So I definitely recommend you guys check out that video. It will be linked right here. So my next tip is to protein treat your hair or use protein rich products. What protein does for our hair is it fills in those gaps in our hair that we break as we're manipulating and styling our hair. So when you fill those gaps in, it just makes your hair stronger, and stronger hair is less likely to break off, and it has more elasticity. If you want more information on protein treating, just click the link here or check my description box. So the next thing is to protect your ends. You want to make sure that your ends are not snagging on different things. When you go to bed at night, you're putting a bonnet on or sleeping on a silk pillowcase so it's not just rubbing up, creating friction, single strand knots, split ends, or whatever. You want to protect your ends. You also want to keep them trimmed. I trim as needed. It could be every other month. It could be 3 or 4 months in between a trim. As soon as I start feeling my hair snag, that's when I go get a trim. I don't trim if it's not necessary. Some people say, oh, you have to trim your hair every 8 weeks. No, if it's not snagging, I'm not trimming my hair. If you feel like your ends are just like always dry and snagging, you need to trim regularly every 6 to 8 weeks, I would say, because more than likely your ends are damaged, and you just want to prevent that damage from tearing up where your healthy hair starts. Like if you have split ends, if you don't get those trimmed, they just keep on splitting and traveling up your hair shaft, which gives you like a longer split end. My final tip is to protect the style, but protect the style properly. That means you need to deep condition and protein treat before you put the protective style in. While the style is in, you need to make sure you're moisturizing your hair. You can either use like a leave-in conditioner, a spray-on one, and just kind of mist it over your hair, or you can mix whatever your favorite leave-in conditioner is in a spray bottle and just kind of spray that on your hair. And then when you take it out, don't just go through, take it out, and just start combing at your hair, pulling off your ends. You need to take your time. As you, like what I do is, as I take it out, I'm detangling with some deep conditioner as I go, so that one, I'm not detangling on dry hair, because remember what I said, detangling on dry hair can increase breakage. And also I'm preventing tangles, because when you go through and you just try to detangle your whole head at once after you take out braids, it is a nightmare, and we have all been there. It's a mess. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please check the description box. If I didn't answer it in the description box, drop a comment and I will answer it the best of my ability. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.